have some breaking news to tell you about. The Department of Justice has just issued a statement from Attorney General Loretta Lynch. It is a written statement, and it reads, "Late this afternoon, I met with FBI Director James Comey and career prosecutors and agents who conducted the investigation of Secretary Hillary Clinton's use of a personal email system during her time as Secretary of State. I received and accepted their unanimous recommendation that the thorough year-long investigation be closed and that no charges be brought against any individuals within the scope of the investigation." Now, this written statement, of course, is coming just a day after the FBI Director, James Comey, had that statement on camera in which he explained his reasoning behind the decision. With me now here on set to talk more about this is CBS News Chief White House Correspondent Major Garrett. And Major, the question I think a lot of people have now, there is a sense of finality.
Right.
This is what the Attorney General said she was going to do, ultimately go with whatever the FBI recommendation was. Is this, though, case closed for Hillary Clinton?
It is case closed in a strictly legal context. It is far from case closed in a political context. What James Comey, the FBI Director, said yesterday contradicted in many respects what Hillary Clinton said on her own behalf about this email system, classified information sent and received on that private email system, and what she had said about the possible risks to national security involved in using an unsecured private email system. All of which now, under the scrutiny of the FBI, have been found to be, if not completely untrue, largely untrue. That creates a real and present political danger for Hillary Clinton on not only her approach to classified information, which is a significant issue for anyone becoming president of the United States, but also her trustworthiness and her ability to deal honestly with a difficult situation, one she herself created. Let's remember this. All of this started because this was a decision made by Hillary Clinton once she became Secretary of State. So the original action here was hers. And when explanations about your own original actions don't stand up to the scrutiny of the FBI, that's a genuine political problem. So in a legal sense, if this were Law and Order, there'd be some sort of gladoom sound effect because the case is closed legally. But this is politics, and the three-ring circus of presidential politics will continue to bat this around.
And what have we seen so far on the campaign trail from Donald Trump, for instance, after James Comey's statement on camera?
Trump has been obviously critical in a couple of respects. One, he says the system is rigged, that this is a double standard. Anyone else, not a former Secretary of State, not a presumptive major party nominee, would in all likelihood, from Trump's rendering of the facts, have been brought up on charges. That's not the universal feeling of many legal scholars I've talked to on this. They do take James Comey, the FBI Director, at face value and say, you know what, this is a judgment call. Prosecutions are always a judgment call based on evidence and likelihood of conviction. They say it's a fair assessment that Hillary Clinton not be charged. But Trump says, no, the system is rigged. This is proof positive of it. And he adds something else to that. Former President Bill Clinton's meeting on the tarmac in Phoenix last week with the Attorney General. A 3-hour interview on a Saturday afternoon on a 4th of July weekend, very leisurely with Hillary Clinton. And then just 2 days later, an announcement that no charges were being brought. Was that really a heavily investigatory interview, or was it just pro forma, just for window dressing? All those things are part of Trump's suggestion that this is not on the up and up. And that in a sense, Hillary Clinton was far more cavalier about classified information, security of that classified information than she let on, and that anyone seeking the presidency ought to be. And he's raised an issue that people who are not partisans have told me is legitimate. Should Hillary Clinton lose her access to classified information? Because as a presumptive major party nominee, after your nominating convention, when you are the nominee for both parties, in or out, you receive on a weekly basis classified information in case you become president to prepare you for the things you need to know. Should Hillary Clinton have access to that based on her handling of this? That is an open question, and many in the intelligence community have told me that's a legitimate one.
All right, Major Garrett, we know you'll continue to watch the fallout from this. Major, thank you so much.
Sure.
Let's turn to our justice reporter, Paula Reed, right now, who has more on this. Paula, what do we know about the timeline here of both what the FBI's final days of the investigation were like, as well as what she has now spelled out in her statement here, her meeting with the FBI Director James Comey?
Eileen, we only know about the timing what the FBI has told us. Again, at his statement, he refused to take questions. FBI Director Comey came out, he gave his narrative, he gave his timeline, but he didn't allow for follow-up questions. I think an obvious one would have been that Hillary Clinton had only been interviewed a few days before he came out with this announcement. To many people, that look suspect. It raised the question of whether or not that FBI interview was perhaps a formality. But today's announcement was very much expected. Loretta Lynch had already said that she would approve whatever recommendation that FBI Director Comey and his investigators made. So here she came out just a few hours before he's expected on the Hill, sort of a sign of solidarity, saying that she's agreed with this recommendation, and she's officially closing this investigation.
We're in breaking right now, so we're just hanging.
And Paula, let me just ask you to remind our viewers, Major had mentioned some of the political sort of fallout of this case, including Donald Trump raising questions about this tarmac meeting that took place between the Attorney General and former President Bill Clinton. Just to let our viewers know, for people who are not necessarily familiar with the details of that, what was that about, and what was the Attorney General's reaction and response after that meeting took place?
So last week, when the Attorney General was traveling to Phoenix for a community policing tour, she was on the tarmac. Former President Bill Clinton saw that she had just arrived, and according to him and his aides, he thought he would just say hello. He said it's a, quote, courtesy that he extends to many dignitaries. But most dignitaries are not overseeing an investigation into his wife's use of a private server, which we now know is multiple servers. So it's clearly inappropriate, and he should have known that. But when he got on the plane, instead of saying, look, not the time, not the place, or you know why this is inappropriate, the Attorney General engaged in some small talk. They discussed golf and grandchildren for 30 minutes. Now, the optics of this investigation created a lot of political turmoil last week. People saying that, clearly this was inappropriate. We don't know what happened. It was just the three of them. And it really brought the whole controversy back into the spotlight and raised a lot of questions. The biggest one being, what on earth were they thinking? And then at the end of last week, Hillary Clinton was finally interviewed by the FBI. Just a few days later, we have the FBI recommending no charges. So it's been a very busy 10 days in this investigation that's been going on for over a year.
And it's going to continue to be busy. There are, in fact, occasions where the FBI Director James Comey, as well as the Attorney General, are going to be testifying on Capitol Hill. Is that right, Paula?
That's right. Tomorrow, FBI Director Comey will be on the Hill. The entire thing will be about Hillary's email investigation. As I've said to a lot of people, his own words, his statement from Tuesday can and will be used against him. He's going to have a lot of very tough questions about things that he said. Lots of the people on that committee are lawyers. They're going to look at those facts and say, we could make a case, especially for misdemeanor mishandling of classified information, based on what you brought us. Why didn't you? He's also going to face a lot of difficult questions about his comment that other people who do the same thing could potentially be charged. He's going to face some very difficult questions. Next week, Loretta Lynch's turn when she testifies before a separate committee.
All right, CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reed on the phone with us. Paula, thank you so much.
Thank you.